Okay, let's dive right into this executive briefing. Today, we're exploring how you can fundamentally transform your strategic decision-making by architecting a completely private, brutal, and honestly incredibly effective AI advisory board. Now, if you're a CEO or a senior leader, you are already used to relying on human boards, right? You bring in consultants, you have your executive team. But in this explainer, we're going to look at how you can build a highly customized, multi-agent AI system that is designed specifically to stress test your strategy way before you ever commit a single dollar of capital or deploy your resources.
Think of this explainer as a no-nonsense strategic blueprint. We're going to cover 1. The executive board mandate, 2. Assembling the 5 personas, 3. Local infrastructure and architecture, 4. The strategic decision workflow, 5. Governance and quality control, and finally 6. Immediate implementation next steps. To really get this, we have to completely change how we think about interacting with AI. The ultimate CEO mandate for this system is absolutely not asking the AI, hey, what should I do? If you do that, you know what happens? You just get generic, middle-of-the-road fluff. Instead, you need to leverage it as a high-friction, red team. The goal here is to ask, what am I missing? Honestly, how could this plan fail? You're building this board for one primary reason: to brutally expose your strategic blind spots.
Number 1. The executive board mandate. Let's establish exactly why we're reframing AI from a simple answering machine into a complex, multi-agent orchestration project.
This is absolutely crucial to understand. Relying on a single AI prompt, just opening up a standard chat window and tossing in a question, breeds a massive yes-man groupthink problem. It just generates a single incredibly polite, super safe narrative. A multi-agent board, on the other hand, which is exactly what we're architecting today, forces independent, high-fidelity perspectives to actually debate one another. It's like you're orchestrating a panel of stubborn experts who evaluate your problem from completely different angles, intentionally exposing contradictions.
Number 2. Assembling the 5 personas. The secret sauce here is how we intentionally design conflict into the system by defining specialized board members.
Okay, so here is your specialized 5-member panel layout, and it's tailored perfectly for high-stakes business strategy. You want distinct experts who stay strictly in their lanes so you get diverse, non-overlapping viewpoints. First up, you have the skeptic. They actively play devil's advocate to hunt down flaws and risks. Second is the visionary, always pushing for competitive moats and aggressive growth. Third, we have the pragmatist or operator. They look purely at the ground truth of execution and day-to-day viability. Fourth is the financial CFO, who strictly evaluates unit economics, ROI, and CAC to LTV ratios. And finally, you have the synthesizing chairman. Their job is to take all these conflicting reports and reconcile them into one cohesive final directive.
But look, these roles don't just happen by magic. You have to actively program each persona with strict bylaws, using a targeted persona brief, kind of like this template. You literally force the CFO, for example, to prioritize capital efficiency and completely reject any unbacked speculation. By doing this, you are giving each AI agent a very specific set of rules and boundaries that dictate exactly how they are allowed to analyze your business problems.
Number 3. Local infrastructure and architecture. Because let's face it, as a CEO, you absolutely cannot be uploading your unreleased financial roadmaps to public cloud servers.
Moving from those core personas, we need to bridge the gap into your actual local implementation architecture and the decision workflow itself. So let's break down exactly how you set this whole thing up on your own machine.
The great news? You don't need expensive cloud APIs or massive server racks. If you have the right modern hardware, specifically an Apple Silicon Mac like an M1, M2, M3, or M4, or a dedicated NVIDIA RTX GPU paired with at least 16 gigabytes of RAM, you already have all the processing power you need. You just pair a free inference engine like Ollama or LM Studio to handle the AI computing completely offline, with a free interface like anything LLM or Obsidian. The whole setup costs $0 and runs with absolute 100% privacy. Literally, no data leaves your machine. And building your local board within that software is surprisingly simple. It's not heavy coding. You just store your advisor profiles as local markdown files, literally plain text files ending in .md. So you create a CFO.md file, a visionary.md file, and a master context document loaded with your company's current status and roadmaps. Your interface, like anything LLM, will automatically read these folders, understand the specific instructions inside them, and convert them into grounded, highly specific advice whenever you prompt your local model. Number 4, the strategic decision workflow. With the local architecture firmly in place, let's look at how to actually run a boardroom session without wasting your time.
Remember, an AI board is only as good as the questions you ask it. Every session was kick off with a one-page board briefing template. You have to provide radical context because the AI only knows what you explicitly tell it. You need to state the objective clearly, list out your absolute constraints like non-negotiable budgets or hardware limits, and most importantly, identify the specific decision needed. Do not use this board to just summarize data. You want to present them with a specific binary fork in the road. Something like, should we launch feature A this quarter or delay it entirely to focus on core platform stability?
Once you input that briefing, you follow a step-by-step Delphi-style workflow. In Phase 1, you seed the context. In Phase 2, you have each persona generate their analysis independently. And this is vital. Do not let them see each other's work yet so they don't influence each other's initial logic. Then in Phase 3, you feed those independent reports directly into your skeptic agent for cross-panel critique. Let the red teamer viciously attack the logic. Finally, in Phase 4, the chairman agent steps in to synthesize all those conflicting viewpoints into a final, actionable recommendation.
To do this efficiently, you'll orchestrate the deliberation using a structured session script. For example, during that critique phase, you'll use a specific prompt for the skeptic. You tell it, identify at least 2 worst-case failures of our plan and how to test or mitigate them in the next 2 weeks. You're systematically moving the board from framing the issue to independent views to this intense cross-panel critique, demanding actionable mitigation strategies rather than just vague complaints.
Number 5. Governance and quality control. Let's look at how this builds into an auditable trail of reasoning that you can actually trust.
As a leader, you can't act on advice if you don't understand how it was generated. So, to rigorously evaluate the judgment of your board, you must enforce what's known as chain of thought prompting. You literally require each AI agent to write out, step by step, the reasoning and the math behind their conclusion before they are allowed to state their final advice. This ensures you aren't just getting black box answers, you're getting the transparent logic that led to them, which allows you to audit the why behind the what.
Furthermore, we have to tackle the intern problem. Default language models are, by design, overly polite. They act like an intern desperate to agree with everything the CEO says. So you must explicitly strip away that sugarcoating. You need to embed rules for brutal honesty right into your prompts. Tell the board, stop being polite, be brutally honest. Ask them directly, what assumptions in my plan are most likely wrong and what evidence would actually change your recommendation? This is the secret to uncovering hidden failure modes.
Number 6. Immediate implementation next steps. Let's wrap this up with concrete, practical recommendations to initiate this system today.
Your immediate next steps are pretty straightforward. First, define your most pressing strategic domain right now and isolate 2 or 3 specific questions. Second, open up a text editor and draft those 5 markdown persona profiles, making sure to give them distinct mandates and boundaries. And third, load them into a local setup, like a llama paired with anything LLM, and run a baseline test session using that 4-phase workflow to stress test your current roadmap. It literally costs nothing to set up, but the insights are incredibly high value.
I want to leave you with this provocative thought as we close out this explainer. AI's greatest value for an executive is not doing your thinking for you. It's exposing the flaws in the thinking you can't see. So ask yourself, what is your biggest strategic blind spot right now, and which AI persona are you going to build today to expose it? Start building your board and demand the friction your strategy desperately needs.